Hello, Northeast District family. Welcome to this Ned Talk, 3 minutes to equip your church. I am Dr. Anita, and I have with me today Pastor Corey from Fusion Church up in Cobleskill, New York, and Pastor Robert from BWC in Cherryville, Pennsylvania. And today our topic is how to use the online streaming as church multiplication. We've talked about how to engage and make it intentional for that interaction. We've talked about evangelism, discipleship, and now in this Ned Talk, we're talking about how that online ministry can actually go that next step to church multiplication. So share with us, pastors.
Sure, I'll start. I mentioned at the beginning, but this idea that people are watching exclusively online, and that's how they consume church and interact with us. And so at the end of the day, you have to ask the question, what do you do with those people? How do you minister to them more than just sort of them watching a screen and that's it? And so I think it's important if you have someone on your staff as you move in this direction to focus on this. It doesn't have to be a full-time position. It doesn't have to take 30, 40 hours a week, but someone who's at least has this on their radar to think, how can we minister well and effectively to people in this virtual setting who want to be there and don't necessarily want to come into church? There's this anonymity component where people in a lot of different groups and categories are coming to your stream, whether they're homesick from and can't be at church or on vacation, or there because they want to watch your service, but they're in another state and can't travel all the way there, or seeking your church and trying to check out more information to see if that's where they want to come in person. So you have all these groups. Um, but it's important to be there for the people who want to be there long term. Have your focus be on the people that are attending your service every day. Still meet the needs for the people who come in kind of transiently, who are there, who are sick, or just checking things out. But be intentional about how you recognize and reach out to people, whether it's individually through their prayer requests or interact with them in the chat or offer small group programs. All those things kind of contribute to making their experience something that's actually going to meet their spiritual need more than just on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, I know, like for us, one of the things we do is the online communication card is huge because it tells us information about them. And specifically, we touch on the prayer aspect because there are some people that won't interact on a chat. We've actually even heard people say that really take it seriously and say, I'm not going to chat during your worship service because I feel rude. I wouldn't sit next to somebody and talk to somebody while I was singing worship music, or even especially like when the pastor's preaching. Like that's just rude. How can I focus on if I'm chatting? That now that chatting's not bad and we do encourage that, but that's just some of the view of some people that really view this as their church. But a lot of people will fill out the online communication card, and I think it's important, like, we talked about in another one of these Ned Talks earlier, it's important to touch on, giving them a gift if if they're joining us for the first time online. And that can be a simple email Dunkin' card or email Starbucks card, for $5, which gives them one coffee, just something like that you can shoot in their email. But we have people like Pastor Robert that, during the week communicate with these people because of the communication cards, specifically as it relates to the prayer requests, just shooting a message or an email to these people, just saying, hey, I saw that, your brother was struggling and was sick. I've been praying for that person, and I just am following up and let you know if you need anything, let me know. So I think it's important that that communication happens. And, one last thing before we close, Pastor Robert said it. Pastor Robert and I are not full-time online pastors. We have other roles within the church, and that's important for I think people to know. And it doesn't even have to be a paid position. It could just be, we are pastors and we need to equip people for the work of ministry. So it's not just Pastor Robert and I doing this. It's a team of people that are volunteering. We are equipping the people for ministry. So maybe you're a church and you're the only pastor at the church. We're not telling you you have to go out and hire somebody. Find somebody in your church that's passionate about connecting with people and has an email address. That's really all you need to start this kind of ministry.
Yeah, and I want to mention one more thing, just a short story. Like, feel free to try things, and if they don't work, do something different. Right at the beginning, when we first launched the eCampus, I was like, yeah, we're gonna like ask for prayer requests in the chat so that we can increase chat engagement and so that people can feel like we're praying for their requests and like people can see those real time. And we did that for like a long time, like 2 months. 3 months, something like that, where we were asking, hey, put your prayer request in the chat. Hey, put your prayer request in the chat. And no one did it. Like we got like one each week. And so like we stopped doing that. And people, the whole idea was like that we were going to cut away. So we were going to cut out of the service to go to where we were streaming from and pray specifically for those requests. And I thought that was like really cool idea. We may bring it back at some point, but I think people just didn't want to feel vulnerable and post their personal prayer requests in such a public forum. And so we just found it didn't work. It wasn't successful. It didn't do what we want to do. People actually said comments like, I don't like that you do this. Please, like, I just want to see the service. Like, you don't have to cut away. So we stopped. And so like, feel free to like try things and fail and then do things differently if it doesn't work. So I just want to mention that too as we close.
Yeah, and that's in the context of us here at Fusion too. And I want to just lastly mention everybody's context is different. So Dr. Anita, she's at Crosspoint, I'm at Fusion, and Pastor Robert is at Bethany. All three of us, and you probably know this as well, it's all different. So what we talk about here is not, you don't have to do what we're doing. Please don't, because it might look differently in your context.
Thank you so much for your time, pastors, and for those of you who have been watching these Ned Talks. And we finished with our prayer that you would continue to go and make disciples. And however God is calling you to be faithful in your mission field, that is what we're praying for. That is what we support. That is what we champion. And so God bless you for even making the time, taking the effort to watch these Ned Talks. Thank you.